Welcome, everyone.
What's good?
What's good? So how you doing, guys? I'm Mutant XP alongside Nika KO, and welcome to another all-new, all-different House of Strikes. So, Lloyd, we have a pretty awesome show lined up for tonight.
That's right.
And so, tonight's House of Strikes is going to be a new Challengers New Generation edition, because we are proud to announce that we have two guests from two up-and-coming Third Strike scenes. We have Miso from the Gutter Trash UK Third Strike group with us tonight, along with Quentin, aka Dr. Pancake. Dr. Pancake.
Dr. Pancake MD.
MD. Pancake MD from Chicago. And so, let's get right to it. Before we get started, do you have anything to say, Lloyd?
Well, first I want to say shout outs to all the UK guys for putting on a good show for everybody on our stream. It was definitely a privilege to have you guys on there and to have that gold commentary that we had the entire day on Friday. So
Definitely.
and shout outs to this guy Muin. Whatever.
Damn. All right.
No,
like
okay.
that.
Shout outs to thanks
All right.
to you
It's like that. All
for
right.
representing tits.
All right.
Out there.
It's like that. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. And so last Friday, yours truly, Newton XP, was in the London area, and we decided, hey, let's get together with the Gutter Trash Third Strike crew and let's do a Fight Club UK edition. And so, there were quite a few players there. It seemed like it drew a pretty nice crowd. We had a setup right in New River Studio in London, Violent City. James, who runs the venue, made all that possible. And so, for Fight Club UK edition, we had quite a few sets. We had one too many drinks, and it was just good times. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream. For those of you who joined the stream, thank you for watching and tuning in. Again, it was a great way to give some exposure to a group of players that have been really putting in the work when it comes to this game. They really love this game, and just me being there and interacting with them, I can tell that they really, really like the game, that they're committed to getting better. And I don't see anything but good things in the future for the UK group. Obviously, with Heart of Gaming closing, the future of their major Third Strike event, Gutter Trash, was a bit in question. But now that James from Violent City has come through, I'm sure that the Gutter Trash UK crew have a home for the foreseeable future. And so there were a lot of sets that happened during the night. Some of the sets I don't remember like that. And so, I ran a couple sets. I ran a set against some old school players. Rakarai, who is a Yun Makoto player, along with Harmonaz, who bodied me 5-4. Good games, Harmonaz. And so, but we also had some awesome matches, pitting some of the up-and-coming UK Third Strike players. We had, Miso do a first to 5. We had Gucci Suit. We had some other old school Third Strike players. Raju, a very strong Urian player. And so, all in all, I thought it was a really great event. Everyone that went there had a lot of fun. I was talking to a lot of people that, play Street Fighter, play video games, but weren't necessarily Third Strike players. And, they saw all the hype and they saw all the excitement. And hopefully they'll hook up with the Gutter Trash people and join the community. One thing that I do want to mention is that every Wednesday, James, who runs Violent City, runs a get-together over in the warehouse district called Brutal Deluxe. And so,
shit.
Yeah, for anyone who wants to hook up with the Third Strike crew in the UK, definitely go on Wednesday nights, Violent City. And so those are the results of some of the sets that we had. And of course, you can catch all the replays on Nika's Twitch channel or his YouTube channel.
Yep, and everything's already up. There was like some mixed reviews about the commentary, but that's all part of the whole exposure for the different communities. You know, everybody's gonna have a different outlook on what type of commentary they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a viewer, everything was great. You know, the matches were pretty fun to watch. The commentary flew, it went pretty smoothly along with it at some points. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a pretty good start to hopefully more future tournaments in the UK for us and the Gutter Trash crew, because a lot of things were missing when Fight Club happens. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's overseas, but
So
yeah,
Lloyd, as a obviously I was there, and I'm gonna share my thoughts in a little bit. But as a stream monster, as a viewer, um, what did you what was probably your favorite thing about the stream?
well, my favorite, well, I guess the quality of the stream. I mean, the way Fight Club is always meant to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little worried that the internet might be an issue, but the fact that you got it all squared out and you got it all prepared perfectly. So
Well, as much as
I
I'd love to take all the credit for that, it was really James of Violent City who saved the day, because the internet at New River Studio was not very good.
mm,
And so, but James luckily had 4G LTE on his phone, and we just used that for the remainder of the night, and the stream ran really quickly. Also, shout outs to Harley. He had the gear to take video off of the cab, and so he's kind of he was the one who kind of did all the technical things for the last Violent City tournament, and so he came a little bit early to help set up. And so shout outs to Harleen. Not only has he taken the initiative in terms of streaming Dirt Strike, but he's also a really strong player, and hopefully one of the leaders of the group. And so, shout
did
outs to
they
Harleen and shout outs to James for saving the stream.
did they ever? I guess, are they gonna work on the internet, or is that something that's like that is just gonna be the same way the whole time?
Well, James supposedly has fiber optic in the warehouse. He just needs to kind of hook it up.
Mm,
And so I'm not sure what kind of internet was at the cafe. See, the thing is, I need to kind of explain what Violent City is. Basically, the event was in a warehouse district, so there are like a bunch of different warehouses, and James just rents one of them, one in the back, very large space. One of the things I wanted to do, but I didn't do, is take kind of like a video tour
mm.
of the venue, because I don't know if you've ever seen like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one, not the crappy new Nickelodeon movies. But if you've seen the old ones, remember where the kids hang out in the Foot Clan, right? Right when I
Yeah.
entered, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, I'm in the Foot Layer, you know. It's a really huge venue. It's a really big room. I think it has major potential. And when I say major potential, I don't mean major as in the regular adjective, but what I'm saying is that there could actually be majors held there. I mean, it's that big.
Yeah, yeah. Like leading up to the event, I know Miso on Facebook. She was like giving not like a tour, but she was like giving streams from the cabinets and stuff.
Mhm.
And from what little we saw from when you played, it seemed like there was like a shit ton of cabs there.
Mhm.
And I remember asking, I was like, are those basically all gonna be used, or are those just for like, parts or something like that? And it's like, I guess some of them were gonna be used for parts, and some of them were gonna be used for extra games too.
Mhm.
But the fact that all of those cabs, and I've seen it, like there was a ton of cabs there.
Mhm.
Thinking about the prospect of having like more than just one board there, I mean, you can have a really really hype Dice Strike event there.
Mhm.
If all the the Dice Strike boards are there as it is, so it definitely has good prospects for the future. So
And I'm
for
probably
future.
going to say this a lot tonight, but when I probably the biggest thing that I came away with when I went to the UK is I just thought how lucky the gutter trash community is to have
Mm,
somebody like James of Violent City around, because this man truly loves the retro arcade scene, and I feel like he's somebody that I think the gutter trash community can really, look towards and really rely on, because I think he's passionate about doing something different in the FGC. The FGC is
similar to like Tony Majors then.
Yeah, he's like the UK Tony Majors, except they're in London. Except they're in London, and James doesn't have to jump through like a million hoops like somebody like Mike Watson has to just to open a freaking arcade.
Yeah.
And so I think the UK guys are just tremendously fortunate to have someone like James, someone who's really passionate about the retro arcade scene, and and the way that the UK guys can show their appreciation is just come out every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Come out every Wednesday, support James, support Violent City, get better, play together, play more often. I mean, that's really how to grow a scene. But we'll talk more about that,
we'll get
later
into
on.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the event, I just some random observations about the players. I definitely think that as far as execution goes, I think the UK players are pretty on point. Their execution is actually pretty good. But I definitely think there are two things that the UK players need to really work on. Number one, that's playing with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, their spacing. It's funny because at the end of the night, Harley came over to me, and he said, your spacing is really good. That must be something that's something we really have to work on.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when I was watching the UK players play, I think they get caught up too much in the meta. Like you need to come into every game with a plan. You have to know, okay, I'm using this character. Here are my strengths and weaknesses. I'm playing this character. This is what I can do, and this is what I can't do against that person or that character. And then you take into account, the player, the actual player, and just come up with a plan. Figure out what you want to do, and obviously it's different for every character. Like for example, with Necro, right? My plan is very, very simple. I want to get you in the corner, and I want to stun you. Now you might think, okay, that's a really simple plan, right? That's like one-dimensional. That's that's not going to work. But that's missing the point.
That's the idea.
Exactly.
That one plan that you have is what's going to make it. Basically, that whole plan is based on the foundation of your gameplay. Mm-hmm. So if you have proper spacing, you're going to push your opponent into the corner. If you push him into the corner, that's where you excel. That's where you want to get the stun. You avoid all the damage that they'll give you by spacing out properly, by doing the actual punishes that you need to do in the corner, and actually getting the right combos for them too. So to a newer player, it may seem like it's very generic to just say, like for a Chun player, to just say, oh, you got to push him into the corner and focus on the mix-up game, the grab mix-up game. But if you look at the top tier Chuns, that's what they do.
Yes.
Like that's what they
where
focus
it starts.
on. Yeah, that's the focus on. That's where they get the most damage, and that's where they get the most wins. So if you go into a match and just say like, I'm just gonna buy this guy, like someone we all know here in New York, it doesn't take you that far. Like you get him into the corner, then it's like if he gets out, you're like, okay, what do I do now? You have nowhere else to go. Mm-hmm. So just having that one mindset behind your foundation of your fundamentals, then from there you can tell yourself like you have more confidence in your gameplay from there. So
yeah, but I think their execution for new players, even the beginning players in the UK, their execution's pretty good.
I mean, considering that
it's just funny how it's just funny how they how the beginning players from all over the world differ from beginning players in America. Just like our beginning players in America, our execution is so bad.
Yeah. I mean, probably because we had to deal with American sticks too, like in the beginning and everything. But do any of them even play on pad or something like that, or it's just they
No,
all
no.
like focus on stick?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there was a PS3 setup, and the arcade setup, and that was pretty much it. And so
yeah, I mean, so it could be a bunch of things. It could be because of people play on pad, American sticks, whatever, you know. So
all right, so but enough of us talking. With us tonight, actually, to provide her insight, and hopefully she can tell us a thing or two about the history of the UK third strike scene, particularly the gutter trash kids. We want to welcome to the show Miso, who has been an integral part of the third strike UK scene. So, Miso, are you there?
Hi. Why'd you guys laugh? I'm muting my microphone.
Is that your chatterbait voice?
yeah.
Oh wow! So straight up with the Miso interview. You guys, wow. Thank you for inviting me to this awful. Wow.
I was the one who brought it up first. Right?
That was a really sensational high.
Yeah, I know, right? It was very
very smooth.
No, it's.
So before we talk about the gutter trash community, let's talk about you, Miso, because that's what the American viewers really want to know about after Fight Club. So how did you get into Third Strike?
It's a really complicated story.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Well, that's why we're interviewing.
We have tons of time. It's not like we have anywhere to go.
I went to a warehouse rave. A guy chatted me up. I made friends with him. Ended up going back to his house a couple of months later after a night out of drinking. He popped up a Dreamcast. We played Third Strike. Then he introduced me to Ant, who got me on GGPO. And that was about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Wow.
I'm not going to go into the details because that's like,
Yeah.
So you just went to a rave party and like.
And a guy came up to me who tried to chat me up, but then we ended up being friends because my boyfriend at the time was friends with him. So yeah, and that's how it began. That's how I started playing Third Strike.
Wow. So keep this in mind, guys. You can go to a club and still find the greatness of Third Strike that same night.
Oh wow.
And so, so Miso, when you approximately how long were you playing online before you started playing, like offline with like people and going to Heart of Gaming or I'll assume that's the first place you played Third Strike socially, right?
That's the first place.
Okay.
I think it was on and off GGPO for like a couple of months, and then the first Gutter Trash was there. So just as I started playing Third Strike, I didn't really know anyone, but I went to Gutter Trash anyway. And then from there, I kind of met a load of people, and yeah, here I am.
And did you play any fighting games before Third Strike?
Tekken 2 when I was a kid.
Oh, you hear that, B-Tran? She's a Tekken fan.
I don't know if everyone's going to hate me, but I actually hate Street Fighter. I always used to love Tekken, but then I found Third Strike.
I think B-Tran is in love right now.
It's yeah, no, but my character in Tekken, I don't, people shun him. So.
Shout outs to B-Tran real quick, SoCal Yun player, but he's also a Tekken player, and we always give him crap about playing Tekken. Well, he's not here, but he's gonna watch the YouTube replay.
So getting back to Third Strike here, after you being on commentary and throughout not just the Fight Club commentary, but the past Gutter Trash commentaries, I think it's pretty obvious now that everybody knows that, you have a very strong feelings for the community itself. At what point when you started playing did you decide like wow, like this is actually something that I really enjoy and I really want to continue doing? So, for example, I remember you actually started that what was it, a monthly Super Saturdays or something like that, Super Strike Saturdays or something?
Yeah, Super Strike Saturdays. But before that, I was running a Third Strike League. That was like quite a while ago, and I don't really remember much about that. But yeah, I did the Super Strike Saturdays, and then which kind of led on to other things. But it was the 3S London League, which was actually run by other people that I took over because they couldn't run it anymore. So I thought, if no one's going to run anything, I'll try my best at it. And then it just kind of fell into place and went on from there.
And then from at that point, you decided like wow, like this can actually grow into something that's much more than just our community.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first started like London League and Super Strike, it was mainly for the London guys because I didn't really know anyone outside of London who played Third Strike. And sort of Gutter Trash was the main sort of event that all of the UK and the EU come to, thanks to Demo and Fu. So my focus was on sort of getting London together. But now, you know, I have people who come down from, you know, the Midlands or the North who come down as well. So it's kind of growing more out of London, which is great.
Can you tell us a little bit about the genesis of Gutter Trash, Miso? Like, you know, how exactly it got started, whose idea it was, and...
Well, like I said before, when I first started, Gutter Trash was already formed, and the first one was already there before I sort of knew about it. But I know the main people who, the CEOs of Gutter Trash are Demo and Virtual Fu. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of people who play the part in the events, who help out during the events. So it's not just them two. It's a sort of really big community thing when it comes to it.
And
so,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something, but whatever.
Oh no, I was just curious as to, you know, obviously Ant and Dom aren't here, but I was just wondering, you know, what the rationale for Gutter Trash was, you know, in terms of, you know, because no one just kind of goes, oh, okay, let's just start a really big Dirt Strike event every year, or
yeah, like you know, they want to grow it into something more, you know, like, so that's what I was gonna say. So
yeah.
Well, I assume so. I mean, in comparison to a lot of the UK Third Strike players, and it's fairly new as well. And I think he just enjoyed the game as much as we did, and kind of had the same idea as I did, but on a larger scale.
So just as you as a player, Miso, why Ibuki? Was she the first character you picked up?
No, the first character I picked up was Chun, and I went to. This is going to sound ridiculous. I went to the first Gutter Trash and I saw Criminal playing Ibuki, like flawlessly, because you know he was playing all the time. And 3J, who I didn't know at the time, was standing next to me saying how like amazing and beautiful it all was, and I agreed. So I started to play Ibuki because of that, because I genuinely think her design is just great in comparison to, well, yeah, Chun is, you know, Chun, but
yes, Chun is.
I didn't want to be boring.
Didn't he win that tournament? Didn't he win one of the Gutter Trashes or something?
I can't remember because it was the first one. I'm not sure if that was Tana who won the first one or Massey. I can't actually remember.
Do you continue? Do you still enjoy Ibuki? Playing her?
Yes, I like always do. I enjoy playing her. Unfortunately, like I don't play as much as I should to get to a good standard, but I just enjoy playing the game. So.
Well, we'll definitely get to that issue later on. I definitely want to talk about the conversation that you had on the Fight Club stream.
Yes.
But before that, and so, can you tell us a little bit about you know, the last Violent City tournament that James held, the Shape of Games to Come? You know how that experience was.
Well, that was I think the first time that a lot of us Third Strike players had gone to the event, to the event and to see Violent City. But seriously, you know, from that day we called Sendo God Sendo because everything just ran perfectly, smoothly. We had a lot of people who came down from, you know, outside of London, and it was It was just great. I mean, we had, obviously, there was a few of us who ran the event because there was SF5, there was an ST tournament, there was a load of other tournaments for loads of other games. So obviously James didn't run each one, but he managed everyone in every group perfectly. And just huge shout out to him, because nothing would have ran without him. He was, you know, fixing buttons till the last minute and getting us Ethernet cables, which was great. So it was more of for the Third Strike community, it was a kind of really good vibe, and it kind of gave us faith to see that we could actually run something huge here. And you know, Sendo was perfect at communicating and doing the best he could with so much passion. So it gave us all confidence in the future.
Earlier on the show, I mentioned to the Stream Monsters that James runs an event called Brutal Deluxe every Wednesday, where he basically opens up Violent City for anyone who wants to play games. I remember last week, or the week before, last week it was, when I went, there were a lot of people playing different games, obviously DrStrike players, ST players, SF5 players. James even has a friend who cooks ramen at the venue, which is pretty cool.
Some really, really dope spring rolls as well.
Yes, and so did anyone show up at Brutal Deluxe yesterday? You know, for DrStrike?
Yeah, like so. Oh no, so we have the usual London guys who try and make it as much as they can. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it this week. But the week before, we had the usual guys. We've also had a few random players who play Smash and other fighting games actually be quite curious about Third Strike, who come over and play. But there's so many other games there that people play. So Third Strike are actually getting a lot more new people. So, you know, even though it's an old game, it's still getting quite a lot of exposure thanks to Brutal Deluxe, because of the variety of games that's there.
Great. And so, do you have any plans for Brutal Deluxe? You know, in terms of, you know, maybe running like a Ranbat, or maybe tournaments at Brutal Deluxe, like monthlies or things like that.
So there are plans to run monthlies, and I'm currently working with the Grandmaster Challenge guys who run ST. We actually ran a couple of tournaments called Super Strike, which combined both ST and 3S, because, you know, there's quite a lot of people in both games who play the other, so I thought it'd be great to merge both communities, since quite a lot of 3S players play ST, and to be honest, I like playing ST as well, so for me it was just two good games. So hopefully, I don't know how soon, but we are planning to be running that sort of event.
Well, that's great. It's nice to know that you guys are trying to take advantage of Brutal Deluxe and everything. Lloyd?
Well, one of the things that was like on my mind was, you know, when it comes to these weekly tournaments, is there ever times when you see like newer players like come up out of nowhere and just say, hey, like, you know, how do I, like, where do I go to get into this, or, you know, like, hey, I'll see you next week or something like that. Like, are there any players that just, any of the newer players, you know, the ones who play Street Fighter V, who come up to the DrStrike crew, the ST crew, and say, hey, like, you know, like, I want to play this more, you know, basically become inspired because of you guys playing the older games? Like, is there anything like that?
To be honest, I don't think we've had a lot of SF5 or SF4 players come up to us, actually. It's been a lot of ST players and, you know, random players from Smash or like dancing games who are interested. But in terms of new players, it's like at the last Gutter Trash, I noticed someone who was playing on Fightcade quite a lot, and we hadn't seen him at Gutter Trash before, so I just introduced myself and was like, oh, hey, you know, if you like this game, then here are the groups, here's, like, you know, the websites that you can go on and whatever. So it's more just, I guess there's no sort of formality to it, because Brutal Deluxe it's more of a casual night rather than a tournament. So we all have, you know, people asking questions, and whoever's there will answer it for them. and if they want to get to play this game more, then we'll put them in the right direction. But yeah,
Awesome.
no SF5 players.
So, obviously, Miso, you're part of a community for a game that, for all intents and purposes, is dead, right? What do you think are some of the challenges, that your community has faced in terms of trying to grow?
I don't find that there's any challenges at the moment that the UK seems finding, because every time we have a gutter trash tournament, we're getting more and more entrants.
Good.
And there's still more people who are willing to play the game. Like I said, Non-Chaku-chan, who played on Fightcade, he's only been playing for about a year. And there's always newer people playing, so we've not had a problem trying to grow the community at the moment, for now.
And how about the challenges of getting better as a community? Because I know during the Fight Club broadcast, you and 3J and Harley, basically along with you and along with Ant and I guess Dom, but he's kind of out of the picture for a while now because of real life things. I mean, I see you guys kind of as the pillars of the gutter trash community, right? You guys had a very passionate conversation about how as a community you guys can get better. And so could you tell us a little bit about, how that conversation came about on the stream?
Well, I don't know. 3J's always been passionate for this game and is always willing to, work really hard, and he puts in the effort to get to where he is. So, there was nothing going on. There was no commentators going on, so I just thought this was an opportunity to talk to 3J about how he felt. And since this was a big thing for the UK, since it's been a while since the community got together like that, I thought it'd be great to talk to him about it. In terms of growing and stuff, it's all dependable on the person. There's different people play in different ways. They learn differently. We have people who, say for example, watch videos or watch tutorials, and then we have others who just come down every week and just grind it out slowly. But it is quite hard because it's so rare for the UK com to get together, since we're so spread out. And in London, I think there's only about maybe 6 to 10 people who actively show up every week, maybe less. So it's harder to get a gist of how everybody's leveling up in the scene, because I still talk to people from the 3S com all over the UK, but I'm not sure how their versions of leveling up is in comparison to mine, for example.
Well, I mean, if you have 6 to 10 people that could potentially show up every week at Brutal Deluxe, that's more than we have.
Yeah, that's more than we have.
That's more than we have.
I was just thinking that too. I'm like, damn, really? 6 to 10 people? That's I wish I was there.
It's like 10 on a good day. I'm not sure how many people turned up on Wednesday, but by the pictures, I think there was about maybe 4 to 5. Maybe 6.
Fuck it, I'll take the bad day. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll take the bad day. Remember, Lloyd? I could have sworn we did a shelter, and there was like 4 of us showed up.
It was just me, you, Holda, and like one other person. I forgot who
it was. It was horrible.
It's right, such a strong US community there, man.
Right? I mean, Lloyd and I, well, really me, but Lloyd and I spent like 2 hours setting up the shelter stream, and then like one person shows up, and it's kind of disheartening, Yeah. But the fact that you guys have 6 to 10,
announce it too, like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But and it's not like we have to worry about these guys being like in another state or in another county or something like that. They can just take a train and that's it. Yeah. People take trains for less. Yeah. And we wanted to set this up to like have consistent sessions where we always meet up and where we all literally work on stuff, because we have that plan of going to Co-op Cup, and we literally wanted to do this so that we can prepare. So to hear that you guys have like 4 to 5 to 10 players like showing up at least every week, I mean, that's an opportunity in itself for
Yeah.
for guys like 3J and Harley and even the older players like Rakurai and Nas to show up and just you know like because I mentioned this on the stream that there should be one player or a group of players that takes the community like takes control of the community in the sense that they lead them
Yeah.
they lead the community, they lead the scene that you have right now. And that's something that me, Mew, and all the guys from This Is Third Strike do. We try to do that here on the East Coast, and we try to provide that for everybody else. That's why Mew went to the UK.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where me personally, I was always of the opinion that somebody should step up and not only just say, hey guys, we should meet up here like every day or every week consistently, but just say, I'm gonna put in the work to get better so that I can get everybody else better.
Yeah.
Show them some stuff. Show them, how does this work? How does this matchup go? Etc.
Yeah.
So that when foreigners come, like the France players, when they come, you guys, put up a much more of a competition than normal.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, so say for example, in my opinion, I'm not speaking on behalf of the UK at the moment, but we don't really have that many big tournaments in the UK to sort of look forward to. We do have Gutter Trash. So,
you had to create your own.
Yeah. So we have Gutter Trash, and a month or a month and a half before that, I usually run a tournament with Harleen, so everyone can get sort of warmed up before the other foreigners come and play. But we also do have hype spotting, and we also have sort of mini tournaments in the Midlands. But where everything's so far away, and when people are kind of living life, it makes it difficult for people to devote so much time and dedication to 3S, because there's a lot of people who play this game, but they've got families, or they've got important work, or they just can't,
or they got castles.
Or they have castles and manors.
Yeah, they've got a.
Yeah. One of the things that I told Harley at the end of the night when we ended the stream was, to me, after listening to the conversation that the three of you had on the stream, one of the things that I wanted to say is that, and we're obviously going to talk to Quentin about this because Quentin is from the Chicago Third Strike scene, and they're even newer than you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like if you're going to start a scene for a game as fringe as Third Strike, I feel like you have to kind of approach it with like a team mentality. You know what I mean? Like, think of yourselves as a team, like a football club or a basketball team. And every team obviously has a captain, right? And, every team member has a role. The teams that win, like in competitive sports, every person on that team has a role.
Yeah.
And the great thing about using that kind of mentality in a game like Third Strike is that everyone can have a different role,
Yeah.
because you can use different characters. But it can extend beyond that, and the reason why I like using the team mentality is because it inserts a certain degree of pride in growing the scene. Because, one of the things that I felt 3J was, very passionate about was the idea, was the fact that in the last few Gutter Trashes, the French players have essentially dominated the tournament, right? And 3J's passion really shined because it's clear that he was not happy with that. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's good that 3J was angry. But I think that, for you guys to, to be competitive against the French players, I think it's, especially for, because, I don't know, obviously I don't know all of you, as well as I should, but, it seems like most of you get along, right?
Yeah.
It seems like most of you are friends. You guys go out together. You guys eat together. You guys are cordial with one another. Take advantage of that. try to develop kind of like a team mentality. Like this is team gutter trash. We're all going to work to make ourselves better, to make each other better. And if 3J succeeds, everyone succeeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if Harley succeeds, everyone succeeds, and so forth and so on. And one thing I was telling Harley after the stream was that you guys as a team, maybe we shouldn't use the word community. Maybe we should use the word team, right? Or football club. I know football's big over there, right? You guys as a team need to have goals. Like what would be a good goal for you guys? Hey, let's have half of top 8 be from the UK, or let's send a team to Stunfest next year, and
I've always wanted to go to Stunfest.
Right, and let's finish top 4.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys need to coalesce and just to rally together and become a team. And I think when you use that team mentality, then maybe you guys can get better. And sometimes 3J, because I know you guys were thinking, who's the best player. Sometimes the best player might not necessarily be the leader of your team. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, how much you know about sports and stuff like that, but the best player isn't always the captain. Right, Lloyd? Like,
Yeah.
you know this, right? You watch baseball a lot. 3J might be the best player, but he may not be the lead. He may not be.
Yeah.
He may not have the personality, and that's not a knock on 3J. It's just that's just not going to be his role. Maybe Harley has to be the leader. Maybe you have to be the leader. But I don't think you should necessarily assume the best player in the community has to be the leader, because that's not always going to be the case. But I definitely think if you use the team mentality, then it sounds more inclusive. It's like, hey, be a part of our team. Let's all wear the colors of gutter trash. Let's all show everyone in Europe how good we are. Because I know you guys want to compete not just with the French players, but I know the Austrian players, right? They're very strong too.
Very strong, yeah.
And they come to gutter trash as well.
Yeah, they came to the last gutter trash. I mean, what you said about having stronger players sort of break things down. We don't have this sort of leadership thing that you guys have over there, but if anybody has questions, and if we're playing offline or online or in a Xbox Live lobby or a PSN lobby, because there's a lot of the UK lot who do that, there's always people to help out. I've had countless times when 3J's been coaching me over the past few years on things to do, and if you go up to someone and you ask them questions, people will grind it out. I had Criminal and me grind out Ibuki stuff for like hours at a time. It might not be as obvious.
It shows.
I mean, it might not be as obvious to people, with this whole team and captain and leader, but there is always someone willing to teach if people just ask. I know 3J has that with Harmonaz and with Rakurai, because he's gone up to them and shown his worth and said, look, I'm ready to learn. Because sometimes I can understand it might be frustrating, say for example as a captain or a leader or someone who's good at the game, to be telling people a load of things when players don't necessarily have the fundamentals, or they've not put in the effort themselves.
Well, I was gonna say that that's one of the prime things about being, because going back to what Murin said about the team aspect, is that it's not just the fact that the leader's not the best player, but there's more. The thing about a team is that there's more than one leader, depending on the type of situation it is. So when I talk about 3J, I mean for him to be a leader in terms of the player aspect, like to teach the players around him and things like that. Now, going back to what you said with sometimes the players, they might not put in the effort or anything like that. I mean, that's something that every higher level player would have to deal with, no matter what the situation is. Whether they put in the effort or not. There's always going to be that one player. There's always going to be that one player who's just going to ask the same question 5 times in a row every single time you play. And
You know, I'm
no,
not gonna lie,
no,
that's me.
but you know that's the thing, like about being, you know, the higher level player. It's like sort of being, you know, the grown up in that situation. You know, you have to have the maturity to tell yourself like, okay, you know what, they may not be learning, but whatever, I'll just remind them.
Mhm.
You know, that's your responsibility.
Mhm.
You know, so you know,
And
in
yeah,
terms of that leadership, you know, that's what you would want to do. So,
and just to
what do you-
piggyback off Lloyd was saying, I really think, that there are different ways to lead.
yeah,
One of the things, I guess it's because I'm a teacher for a living, but one of the things we need to remember is not everyone learns the same way.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone has different learning styles, but everyone has different teaching styles as well. And so, like for someone like 3J, maybe the best way for him to lead is just to show up every Wednesday and just body the shit out of all of you guys.
Oh no, trust
And
me,
and,
like
and
he's
yeah.
been doing that, and there's so many UK players who've gone, you know, I'm trying my best to be better than 3J.
Yes.
He's already been doing that for years. He's such
Then
a
he's
strong
already
player.
leading, yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's already doing what he's supposed to do, because there are some players on your team, right? Like think of Brutal Deluxe as your practices, right? And then in the big tournaments, that's when you want that's when you want
Gotta
your scene
trust,
to
yeah.
have a really good showing. And then in those practices, there are players, they're on the same team, but they go at each other. They and the practices are harder. And, they push themselves so that when the actual tournament happens, it's not even that big a deal compared to the practice. Like when me and Lloyd, when we used to practice, I mean, there were just, I mean, we there were times when I wanted to, but maybe that there are different ways to lead, and and there's different, and then people have different ways of learning. And so I think maybe 3J just needs to I think sometimes, and I also think you can't expect too much from players too.
Oh no, definitely.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not
sometimes you
expecting
just have
3J to just teach everyone and be like,
Yeah,
hey,
it takes more than just one player, anyways. You know.
Well, the thing is, we have a lot of strong London players who turn up to the weeklies anyway. I mean, we had Rakurai, we have Percy. Sometimes we used to have the scene once, but there are people who of high level coming every week, and we ask questions and they answer it. And they're leading in their way, but it might be a bit subtle because we're British and.
Yeah, and sometimes all you can do is just show up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just show up every Wednesday. Maybe I think that's a good idea that you guys maybe introduce a little structure in the Brutal Deluxe weeklies. Start Ranbats, or maybe start first to fives, or start like really quick, like single elimination tournaments. If you get like 6 to 10 people every night, how quickly a single elim tournament will go. Just to kind of replicate those pressure situations. And and I think I think you guys are on the right track in terms of wanting to introduce more structure into the Brutal Deluxe weeklies.
I mean, I didn't consider that really, because to me, a lot of the Brutal Deluxe is just kind of practicing and seeing each other, and I feel, it might be a bit casual. So
it's probably the equivalent to going out for a beer.
But notice, right? You kind of, if you caught yourself, Miso, you said practice, right? But that's how you practice, right? You're practicing because you're playing one another, but what you're really doing is you're practicing so that you can body these foreigners, right? These French and the Austrians and the Americans and the Japanese and whoever wants to come into your neck of woods and show them how good they are at Third Strike. You have to defend your turf. So I think there really does need to be a level of pride, taken. And I think, I think that's the one thing I took away from that conversation, that you had with 3J and Harley, that 3J just wants pride, and I really think. And I think you guys and I think you guys get along well enough that you can do that. And so, that's why I said on my Facebook message, most importantly, you guys gotta just stick together, stay together. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
Supporting, coming on the Wednesday, it's more than enough. And like I said, there's always, Xbox and PS3 lobbies going on weekly.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tide Ocean does a weekly PSN lobby.
Yes.
And I can't remember. There's a few, Xbox Live ones that people are a part of. So there's always something going down, but kind of coming offline and coming to Brutal Deluxe is great. And I mean, it's open from 4 p.m. till 12 a.m. So we have plenty of time for a single elim tournament. But the only problem we have is that because it's open for, those times, people don't always turn up at the same time. So trying to run a tournament might be a bit too complicated because people come late or people have to go early. And then it's one of those, if we're running such a sort of structured thing, it might deter other players who want to come and play. And see, that's the kind of problem I'm having personally, balancing out whether we just stick to the kind of community and the team we know and build on that, or still kind of bring in new players, because like I said, we're still getting new players coming in all the time.
Well, I think you can just do both,
Yeah,
like you go to Brutal Deluxe.
Come.
Yeah, you go to Brutal Deluxe, you announce while you're there, okay, we're going to have a quick single elimination tournament, £2, okay, entry or whatever, right? Or, I don't know. You can make it free, you can make it free too, I mean, if you want, but...
We're going to do it how we did in London League, and the winner gets a mini roll or a Galaxy chocolate bar.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Don't even... Why are you pulling that face, Sneaker? Why are you pulling that face?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Turn up for a mini roll, man.
No, because it's funny. I made that face because you're not the only ones who did that. Gavin, who's a part of This Is Third Strike, he actually did that in his scene too. I mean, a little. He was a little more excessive with it because he put top 3 in his tournaments get dinner or whatever, but it's the same. It's the same idea,
Yeah, screw that.
If I could afford dinner, then fuck yeah, I'd buy everyone dinner. But nah, like £1 mini roll on a Tesco's offer. That's all I can.
But I mean, in a single game, single elimination kind of thing is like.
Yeah, definitely.
One of those.
That is actually something that I'm like definitely going to consider. And when I see people next week, I'll obviously talk to them.
It's also like, because I know you said that after like tournaments and stuff, you guys go out. You guys relax, you guys eat, you guys chill or whatever. I know back in the days, well, I never got a chance to do this, but I know when you used to go to Family Fun, after a good like session or a good tournament or whatever, where'd you guys go? You guys went to like Denny's or some shit, right?
Well, basically what happened is, for family, okay, well, I mean, I don't want to that's a whole nother show. The family, the group of family players, the dynamic was a little different. But basically, on a typical Saturday or sometimes Sunday, people would get into the arcade like around noon. Tournament won't start until like 3. The tournament happens, and then a bunch of us go out to eat, right? Kyushu ramen, that's right, Kaz.
We do ramen as well. We go to Ippudo.
Yeah,
Ippudo ramen. We
go to ramen. We, some of us drink there, and then after dinner, then we play Jungle Strike, right? That's when we play games. We just trying to let loose, and then we play until like 3 to 4 a.m., and then we go to Denny's. So I don't know. I mean, the family thing, not everyone got along, but but to me, what made family so amazing was just how long you could play. Think about it. I would get to the arcade with my friends at noon, and I wouldn't leave until 4 a.m. the next day. I mean, that's like,
wow.
So, to me, there's a reason why the family players were so strong, because they played a really long time. They were able to play for a really long time, and obviously that's just not that's not feasible anymore in certain places. Because I know Brutal Deluxe, they close at midnight, right? So
yeah, they close at midnight. Yeah, so everyone's got to get the last train home. So.
Yeah, So
Well,
I mean, to me, just play more, man. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Just play more, play often, play regularly. It's not rocket science. I really
Oh
don't
no,
think it
definitely
is.
no,
You know?
definitely no. I
because
mean, the people who want to, sorry, Nico, the people
yeah.
who want to level up, they are grinding at it. They are playing as much as they can. You know, maybe it doesn't like show, but I know there's a lot of UK players, you know, some playing every day to try and get as good as they can.
Yeah. So,
like
Lloyd, do you have any other closing questions for Miso?
well
I know it's like 3 a.m. over there, or however long it is. I don't want to keep you.
It's no, it's only 11:50 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, learn to clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, just one thing that like crossed my mind was,
Hmm.
it wasn't the whole, the idea of the fact that the Family Fun players played such a long time. I remember one story that I forgot which one of them was it. I don't forgot if it was Pyro or Amir or Five Star. One of them who they had an interview and they specifically said that back when Frankie 3S used to play, that after a long session or something like that they used to like just like chill in the car or something like that, or chill at Denny's or some shit, and like eat something or just like smoke weed in the car and just like just talk about the game, like talk about the stuff
Yeah.
that happened. And that's one of the things that, me and you, we do that whenever we go out to get Chinese food and stuff like that, like we do shit like that too. But I figured, like, with the fact that you guys, after, you know, a good session or a good tournament like Gutter Trash or something, you guys have a really close knit group.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that you guys can probably do. Like, say, like, damn, like, when I lost to this French player, like, what could have I possibly done? Like, what's the way I could have played to make it better? Little things like that. Like,
I mean,
they
people
always make
people
that.
yeah, people do, you know, within their own conversations, and there are people constantly talking about different ways to level up. Um, but I don't know, I just can't talk for a lot of the UK players, but I know, say for example, Virtuafu has leveled up
Mhm.
quite a lot because he's been grinding at it. He's been asking people where he's gone wrong. He's been, you know, learning constantly and asking people how he can change his game and what he could do better.
Mhm.
So there are always, you know, people doing that and asking for things and, you know, looking back at their plays on streams and Gutter Trash and finding out how they can better themselves against the French. And in terms of community stuff and going out, normally people go out before the event, because you know we're playing
Mhm.
till like 12 in the morning and people have to go home, so there's no opportunity to have the event fresh in your mind. But when I went over to visit Arcade Street, with all the, I think I went to King of Third Strike,
Mhm.
for the guys in Paris, and you know, after that, we all went out. We got some burgers. They all spoke about their games, and then everyone was able to just go home after that.
Mhm.
But we don't really have something like that in the UK where people sort of go out after
Mhm.
because everyone likes their bed and a cup of tea. So.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of Discord, Miso, but maybe you could do that in a virtual setting. I know
Mm,
Discord is basically a newish program where people
yeah,
can chat online. You know,
yeah, I've heard it.
and
Quite a few people have said it.
Ant on the stream says if you want to beat the French, you got to play the French, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
not
agree
true.
with that.
That's not true.
I don't agree with that.
Like we didn't play any Japanese players, and
No.
we held our own against Vanau and RKF.
We just played online players and
Mhm.
each other, and that's just, we researched everything. you
Mhm.
know that's just the way it goes. I mean, it's like saying, well, I mean, yeah, it's like what you said. We never played Japanese players, but we still beat them.
Mhm.
You know.
Mm.
I mean, that's kind of like with all due respect, that's kind of a defeatist attitude, right? Like, oh, to beat the French, you got to play the French. Well, how are you guys going to play the French? You can only play the French at Gutter Trash or if you go to Arcade Street. I
Yeah.
don't agree with that at all. I think, I definitely think, you know, like, I definitely think that you guys can, level up and be competitive against them without having to play them,
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you wanted to ask Miso, Lloyd?
Mate, Pictionary?
Oh shit! So guys, Mutant XP and Nika KO are joining me on my stream to play Pictionary.
Well, I
In
don't
a
know
little
about
bit.
Mutant.
In a little bit.
Nika, you said, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
but we have
okay.
to interview someone else after this. So
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna sit on this stream and spam shit.
But for those of you who are on the stream who aren't familiar with Gutter Trash, Gutter Trash is I don't know. It's like it happens every couple times, every 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not like been as often this year because we've had problems finding a place to do it.
So
there'll be a lot more information. Oh, there is one thing. There is one thing I wanted to point out about the UK com, which is like fucking amazing. It's always been so supportive of the events, and it's always been supportive of the place where the events are held. So we had the Heart of Gaming, and the sticks and buttons weren't up to a standard that the players wanted it. So altogether, people donated money to get these things, and on the day of Gutter Trash, people were helping out fixing the buttons, people were helping out doing all that. And since we have Violent City, we've got one of the boards donated by Wasim, so thank you so much, because now we're able to play it every week. But the com has actually raised around £800 to buy boards.
That's like
for Violent City.
That's
put
like
in cabs.
that's like $2,000 US now.
And big shout outs to Virtual Foo for sort of setting that up and getting all the information. But I just had to point that out, is that we do have such a strong community here. And you've got I can't speak much for the Scottish community, but I know there's a big community with them. I mean, you have Walter as well, who's like running Hype Spotting and does all that. So I can only really speak about the London 3S lot because I see them the most. But there are so many other players and so many other communities and events happening all over the UK. I just think maybe we need to just all communicate better. And I'm not going to lie, I need to make an effort to go and see people in Sheffield who are running events, people in Southampton running events, and
God damn.
sorry. Mutant XP, that was a big
The stream monsters didn't hear that. I muted the mic.
He did
but thanks for telling everyone.
No worries. I'm so honest. We have so many communities in little cities around the UK. Me personally, I'm lazy and have no money to go to these events, and other people have lives. But I know in those towns and areas, people are playing Third Strike. There's still a scene for Third Strike, and I think we just all need to make an effort to get out of London and go to those places to meet and see and play other players who are not necessarily in London, who are not necessarily coming to Brutal Deluxe. So maybe that's something we could all work towards, and then obviously that kind of builds more of a team attitude, and maybe we can go to Hype Spotting next year, or Stunfest, which I've always wanted to go to.
Yes, goals. It's good to set goals. And also, people on the chat are pointing out that that you guys need to stream more. And for people who aren't familiar with the London crew, it's the reason why the UK crew, the Gutter Trash crew, have been having problems streaming is because Heart of Gaming, where you guys usually used to play, it's just apparently was a dead zone for internet access, right?
Just let's not even talk about
okay.
Like, no, seriously, man, like fuck that shit.
But hopefully you guys will. Yeah, hopefully you guys will start streaming regularly, right?
I mean,
you guys don't even have to stream either.
I mean, you don't even have to commentate. Just record the matches, stream online.
But the thing is yeah, we can record the matches, but unfortunately, we don't all have the equipment on hand you know, to just set it up straight away. And there's a few people who have a few items. I mean, me and Harleen and a few others tried our best to sort of get a setup that can stay at the arcade. And maybe we can start doing it again if it's just for recording. But sometimes it's just sort of such a pain.
Yeah. So one thing that you can probably do is, you know, if it's on your laptop or something, because I know you have your own stream too. So, you know...
Oh, mate, I'm not bringing a fucking massive desktop with 2 monitors.
No. Well, I mean, I figured if it's like a laptop or something...
I haven't got a laptop. I'm too poor.
But, you know, just something that you can probably do, like, or anybody else. It doesn't have to be you.
Yeah.
It can be anybody else. They can record the stream, like, record the session, and then stream it later on when they get home or something.
See,
you know, something like that.
That would be great, and you know, if I had a laptop, I would be, you know, perfectly fine doing that because I usually stay from open till close anyway. But I know Harley.
Donate to Miso, guys.
Donate to the Gutter Trash crew. Do you guys have a PayPal or something set up? America wants to help. You gave us our independent. All right. You are the reason we are here. Okay. The War of 1812 happened a really long time ago. America wants to help the UK.
Shit, Mutant's going deep. This is too deep for me, man. No, I think, like, you know, that's one thing that we want to try and do. And I mean, I started a Third Strike London YouTube, and I was recording on like a camera and uploading those, and Harleen then started recording with his laptop, and then we had Younger Mork recording with his computer. But it's so hard to do that now because, you know, like I said, there's different people who have different things, and it's hard to just have it all in one. If we could do that, then yeah, fuck yeah, we would be doing that. I do poverty streams on my Facebook in groups. I mean, I did a poverty stream on This Is Third Strike group, just showing like everything and a few games and stuff.
Okay, so apparently,
Gutter Trash UK at PayPal.com.
I'm gonna
if you want to donate.
I'm gonna go ahead and flash that on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, obviously, I will talk to Virtual Few about how much you guys donate. And if you do donate, just put like a comment saying like UK London stream. You know, thing.
Yes.
And be sure to follow their social media too, guys. I mean, they have Facebook, they have Twitter, you know. So
wait,
you know,
that was wrong.
Go on the Twitter.
Oh no, wait, guttertrash at gmail.com. Oh, okay, all right. The first one was Ant's personal account, so don't. You want to give Ant money. This is the real email. For anyone who wants to help Gutter Trash, you know, get equipment to stream more regularly, definitely consider donating. And the email is guttertrashuk@gmail.com. Okay.
And also, sorry, Harleen did mention something. There is rival scenes in November. I actually don't know about this, but he's, you know, it's a team tourney, so he's trying to get a load of players who, you know, want to be in. I mean, ideally, Harleen says, ideally, I want 3J and Percy, and London will win free. So, you know, maybe that's something that we can all work towards. If we know that there's a date, we can all be like, well, you know, everyone come during the week, and
let's all help, because it's the team thing, right? You know, let's all help, because if they win, you guys win. You know, it's just kind of that mentality. So I
mean,
So I have two more questions for you, Miso. So question number one. And I wanted to kind of talk about this at Fight Club, and I need your honest answer because you say that you're an honest person. All right.
Wait, no, hold on. Before like any of this, I'm not like gonna be bitching about anyone.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Good.
But okay, so do the UK guys get annoyed when non-UK people refer to you as mate? Because I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Repeat that question. Repeat that question.
Like, you know how like some people, they'll talk to you and they'll post on your board. They're not even from the UK, and then they'll be like, "Hey mate, like M8," and then like as if they're really from like, you know. Does that annoy you or does that bother you? Because I don't know. For some reason, that would bother me, right? Like,
I mean, like, there's a lot of. So
I'm just looking at the chat. Everybody's like, mate.
I know, I just triggered it right now.
Well, in the 3S com, in the 3S com, there is a lot of private jokes and in jokes, and mate is one of them, and matey9 is one of them.
Oh, okay.
So I am not bothered. Mate is like, nah, I'm not bothered. It's part of the.
Okay.
I mean, Nika knows he's got the matey9 on lock now. Yeah, he's nodding his head.
Okay.
He's got some tuts as well, so he knows about the tuts and the matey9s and shit.
Okay.
Banters.
The banter, yeah, the banters. As Harleen said it the other day, chat shit, get banged.
And
You know.
and my second question is when are you sending a UK gutter trash contingent over to America? Because we would take care of you.
When the Americans stop being asses and come to fucking gutter trash.
Oh, okay.
Nika didn't. Wait, hold on. Nika was meant to come last week, but he flopped because he's a dickhead. Oh. Oh, and Kang.
It's gonna be this. It's gonna be the second coming of Christ for you guys when I go. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
When I go over there.
Wow.
Wow. And there's a ceasefire between this is Third Strike and Exodus, so.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, so.
Let's not do that.
So there's that.
Okay.
So.
But Nika, like, you've already failed to show up.
Well, like I said, the next gutter trash is in October. But what else is in October?
Bitch, earn more money and fucking fly to both.
I'm just saying. Thanks to Kang.
You know, to be honest,
I'm not.
there's a lot more to do in London than North Carolina.
Yeah, but you know, thanks to Kang, I'm obligated to go now. So.
Yeah, because it's the clash.
Well, let's put it to the stream chat. What would you guys rather see? Would you guys rather see me versus Ryan in the first to 10, or would you rather me go to the UK? So
Yes.
you know, whichever one you guys.
So
would
what
decide.
event do you want Nika to go to? Do you want him to go to Gutter Trash, or do you want him to go to the Clash of the Divas? Which event do you want him?
Clash of the Titans.
I mean Clash of the Titans. I'm sorry. Clash of the
correct
Titans.
yourself. Unity, right?
Clash of the
Fucking,
Titans.
yo, just get the Austrians to donate. Get the Austrians to
Wow,
donate.
some UK guys are like, oh Ryan. Wow.
Can we get DSP to Gutter Trash? Okay.
Oh my
Well,
God.
thank you
I
so
don't
much
think-
for joining us, Miso. I really appreciate it. I know that you're eager to get on Pictionary.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have my Pictionary group saying, actually, I'm gonna steal all your streamers. Come to my stream, guys.
Go ahead. It's fine.
No. After we finish, I'll host your stream and
Definitely.
everybody can watch the Pictionary.
Yeah, but you're gonna be like done in like 3 hours, and it's already 12 a.m.
No, we'll be done in like an hour. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're good.
Please, you took an hour to set this up. Anyway, thanks for
wasn't
having me,
set.
guys.
All right. Well, thank you for taking
To be continued.
all your valuable time out to be on House of Strikes. And so remember, guys, for those of you who are interested in donating to the Gutter Trash UK community,
Yes,
please send your donations to guttertrashuk@gmail.com.
why are you flashing it?
Maybe Miso will do some Pikachu impersonations for you if you.
Nah.
No, okay.
If Horse Penetration donates $100, I will personally think about his question for me to come and live in the US.
He's in the chat actually, or he
Yeah,
was.
he is.
Horse Penetration,
Yes.
donate $100 and I'll record a lovely speech for you.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
All right. So thank you again, Miso. Good luck to you. Good luck to the UK Dirt Strike crew. And so, guys, stick around because Miso isn't the only interview we have. Later on in the show, we're going to have with us one of the leaders of the emerging Chicago Third Strike crew, Quentin, aka DrPancakeMD.
MD.
So stick around. We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and we'll be back. Pancake. All right. Thanks again, Miso.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Bum 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 bum.
All right, guys, welcome back to House of Strikes. I am Mutant
Oh
XP.
my word!
What? What? Yeah, I told you it's I gotta fix that stuff. So welcome to House of Strikes once again. I am Mutant XP, and later on in the stream we're gonna have one of the leaders of the Chicago Third Strike scene, Quentin, on with us. But before we do that, Lloyd,
Dr. Pancake.
Dr. Pancake. Before we do that, I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about a tournament that happened in the Midwest called Combo Breaker.
Yep.
And so let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage here. That's not the bean footage we're looking for. So, Combo Breaker took place when? When did Combo Breaker take place again?
I believe 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? When was Combo Breaker? Let's go ahead and look that up. So I think, I believe Combo Breaker took place while I was in the UK. Oh yes, it took place on May 28th. May 27th to 29th. I think the Third Strike tournament was on a Saturday, I think.
Yeah. No, it was on a Sunday.
Was it on a Sunday?
Yeah, I specifically remember that Quentin, he I think he messes the This is Third Strike group, and he sent me the link to the Twitch channel, and he said that Sunday they're gonna be streaming. So
okay, and so much to everyone's surprise, including the people that were running the tournament, there was quite the turnout for Combo Breaker. I believe they had a total of 31 participants in the tournament.
We'll have to ask MD, Dr. Pancake about it.
We're gonna have to ask the House of Third Strike, MD, later on. But I believe they had about 31 entrants, and that's a lot.
Anything more than 20 is pretty decent.
And the great thing about this tournament, Lloyd, is it was run on Supergun.
Oh, nice.
With undammed converters, so that everyone could use their controllers. And so we had genuine Third Strike goodness going down in Combo Breaker. And it was a pretty entertaining tournament. I wish I had was able to watch all of it. But apparently a lot of the Omaha, Nebraska guys came.
Yeah,
and I believe the winner of the tournament was our favorite Nebraska player, right?
Simon, yeah!
Simon, yeah! Simon, yeah! Taking the tournament over Jamar, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, Jamar, and that's what we have the highlights here for. And so I believe Eat was there too.
Yeah, Cannon Black was there too.
Cannon Black got bodied though. I heard he went 2-0.
What? He hasn't gotten 2-0 since he was 16.
Good job. Which was like last month, right? Yeah, Cannon Black, I think his mind was elsewhere. But there you go. There you see on the screen, Simon Yeh came in first, followed by Jamar. Mr. Part 2, I believe he's a Chicago player. I don't know. We're going to have to ask Clinton that. Hugasha, Elena player. Elena 12 player, getting 4th place. That's sick.
Wow.
Quentin, of course, taking 5th, along with David Q, Eat, and then Miguel. And so, for those of you who missed the Combo Breaker tournament, you can always check out the stream or the replays. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I should go ahead and bring that up. I'll bring that up later. Anyway, so Lloyd, what do you think about Combo Breaker?
Well, from the matches I saw, I mean, considering that it was on a Sunday and 30 people entered, but it was on Super Guns. I mean, I think everybody just took it pretty easy from what I saw. So, but from the fact that Eat struggled throughout the tournament, I mean, it shows in his placement. I was like surprised. I figured it would be something like him versus Simon in the finals or something, but it was. I guess Chicago has a lot more to offer than we think, so it's a good thing that it was streamed. It kind of exposes all the players that they have, and the new prospects that are coming up in that scene. So it was definitely good to see.
So I heard the event itself is very top tier.
Oh yeah, Combo Breaker, yeah. Because didn't they have like Vampire Savior like on the main stage or something?
Yeah, they had Vampire Savior on the main stage. Maybe next year the Chicago Third Strike crew can finagle the people in charge of Combo Breaker to have Third Strike on the main stage as well. I don't know. Who knows? I think that would be pretty hype.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
I caught some of the Combo Breaker stream while I was actually staying over with the Shen. And so I made sure the Shen retweeted the link to the Combo Breaker tournament. And I'm curious to hear what Quentin's experience running a Super Gun tournament, because we did that at Defend the North, and it wasn't the easiest thing to do in terms of running a Super Gun tournament.
Where did we do that? I don't remember that.
Defend the, oh, you don't remember? That didn't happen? That tournament didn't happen? Okay. No. But for the most part, oh dude, I gotta change that thing. This is why you don't drink while you stream. But in the meantime, one of the things that I thought was really cool about the Combo Breaker tournament was the fact that the Nebraska guys came down.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I thought that was really cool.
I mean, even Ken and Black went there too. I mean, that's...
for Skullgirls,
Oh yeah.
Freaking traitor.
Okay.
But it's alright. We love you, Bieber.
Yeah, no wonder you went 0-2, you stupid shit.
But I thought that was really cool of the Nebraska guys to all come down. Jamar too, he went down.
Jamar.
Eat went, of course. Simon Yeh, David Q, and so it's really cool because they're kind of like the elder statesmen in that area, right? Yeah, and it's really cool for them to kind of show their support for a new scene that's emerging on the Third Strike in the Third Strike landscape. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get right to it. And so, joining us, our second guest tonight, not Miso. Let's go ahead and change that. That's not it.
I'm not a guest.
No, I know. We have with us tonight Quentin from the Chicago Third Strike scene. How are you doing, Quentin?
Good. Glad to be on.
And so I'm just going to have to kind of finagle some things on OBS right now. But in the meantime, I'm going to let Lloyd take the lead on this interview. And so...
Well, glad to have you on the show, Quentin. Where did you come up with the name DrPancakeMD?
I have a lot of interest, and one of them is cooking.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but yeah, breakfast foods, man.
Breakfast foods. What's your favorite? Are pancakes your favorite breakfast food?
Waffles.
Waffles.
I spent $100 on a waffle maker, so yeah.
Dr. Waffle, you gotta change your name now.
See, that doesn't sound right. That just sounds... Ugh. Or at least to me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right either.
Dr. Pancake.
So again, bear with me, guys, while I try to add Lloyd back to the chat.
That minion mode is activated, guys. Don't worry.
So Quentin, while I fix the OBS, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with Third Strike?
Where did I get started? So I actually started by I started playing in college. A whole bunch of people I just met started playing fighting games. So it's just like, oh.
And whereabouts did you go to college? I mean, you don't have to give me the
Charlotte.
The school, okay, Charlotte. Okay.
Yeah, so I went to school with Charlotte. I actually played with the guys out there in North Carolina, Knuckle Dust, Face.
Oh, those guys.
With them.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. All right.
So
I wish you had told me this before we had you on the show. Now I gotta.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's all right. Nobody's
Chicagoan now.
Nobody's perfect. So okay. So go ahead, continue.
So yeah, from there, I mean, I started playing Tekken 6. That was a game that I thought was going to be pretty much the thing that I was good at. Then I started playing Third Strike and was just like, oh my god, this is so much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel free. I feel freedom. I don't know how to explain that thoroughly, but from there it was just like, okay, if I'm going to pick a hobby, I should pick something that I have fun doing and something that, I can have people around and have fun with. So stick with it, figure out how to grow it, because I know it's kind of a dead game, if you will, and it's just fun. I don't really know how to explain it. It's like,
well, that's the beauty about Third Strike. Nobody can ever explain why it's good or what about it makes us so attracted to it. It's just true. It's just one of those type of games that you just, once you click on it, that's it. You're hooked.
I feel like every game is different. Unlike some other games where I started playing Marvel 3, and I swear the first day it came out, every single match ended the same way, started the same way. Footsie game was the exact same. I was just like, this is fun. I can do my ABCs.
So how long ago were you introduced to Third Strike, roughly?
Yeah.
So the first time I think was actually back in 2005. My cousin had he had the anniversary collection, and like we played this match that still bothers me to this day, Ken Makoto, and it's just like, sucks. Beat me with sweeps all day. Huh?
You were Ken or Makoto?
Makoto.
Mm.
Yeah. So then it stuck with me from that day, and I didn't really pick it back up until 2011, whenever I figured, other people like actually play this and there's some legitimacy behind it. So now, okay, let me figure out how to decipher the game a bit further, and figure out how to get actually good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So who is your main now?
Well, considering you had 3 characters under your result, I'm assuming you're having a character crisis.
Kind of. I mean, I love Makoto to death. She's my favorite. Ken's still fun, but there's nothing quite as satisfying as getting a Jodan kick with Ryu. Light kick Jodan from like mid range. It's such a good tool. Thought I was gonna do low forward. No, Jodan. I don't know. So I'm still figuring things out.
So when you moved to Chicago, Quentin, did you think, okay, I live in Chicago now, was seeking out other Third Strike players high on your priority list? I mean, did you like when you moved to Chicago? You're like, okay, I gotta find the Street Fighter scene. I gotta find the Third Strike scene.
To be honest, a little bit. I mean, my first priority, I was getting my education. I was working on a master's degree, and I just wanted to pursue that first. But if I was thinking about like other things outside of that, what hobbies I wanted to pick up, what things I wanted to do, how I wanted to meet people, Third Strike's fun. There's Third Strike, there's cooking, and I got cats now, so I guess I know cat people. So that was kind of the 3 things that I said, okay, this is how I'm going to sort of define things and then go from there. And then, well, let's just say I know more people who enjoy Third Strike than I know cooking, and that's kind of sad.
Oh, why? That's not that sad.
It's kind of sad,
I enjoy both,
man.
too.
Considering Third Strike is a dead game and cooking is, something that people can actually do for a living.
It's kind of sad.
And so how did you, where did you find these Third Strike players in Chicago? Because I've been to Chicago before, and, so exactly what neighborhood in Chicago did you find these Third Strike players lurking about?
So we are all across the map in Chicago. One of the things that's difficult is actually getting people to one place, one central place. So, I mean, people live in the suburbs, people live in the city proper. It's kind of just like, okay, how much public transit am I willing to tolerate to actually go somewhere? But Chicago has its central locations where people gather and play. A place called Ignite. What actually I think sparked sort of a revival of 3S in Chicago was we got a lovely barcade called Logan Arcade that opened up, I think, back in 2014. And I remember requesting, you guys should have Third Strike on a candy cabinet in there. And lo and behold, it has Third Strike with a candy cabinet in there. So that's sort of our central gathering place.
Is it on free play?
No, but we know the bar owner, and he's the kind enough guy to put it on free play if we ask, or if we want to hold an event there. So it's good to have connections there.
That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, it does seem like you dive into other games too. I mean, has that sort of I guess mindset helped when it came to trying to gather the community together?
I mean, of course, like one of the guys that I work with, or damn, did I say work with? Is this a job? Anyway, so one of the guys that is one of the other, I guess, he's very active in the Chicago community and has been for a long time. His name is Brian. He's a really good guy, and let's just say all the things that I've done, I would not have been able to do without the rest of the people in the community. And well, let's just say he put a banner up that's had Third Strike on it at Combo Breaker and apparently got like 10 or 12 people to sign up extra. So this is not just like a single person project.
Well, of course not. It never is, But I'm just looking at the fact that you guys got a good amount of players who entered. How many exactly entered? What was it? 31? Was me right about that? That 31 players entered?
Yeah, I think it was 30 or 31.
Yeah, I mean,
See, I do my homework. I do my homework.
were you surprised when you first heard that number? Were you looked at it and did you say like holy shit, like 30 players, really?
Dude, at 31, I was like, no, I think at like 28, I was just talking to the people like, hey, go find four of the people. 32-man bracket, come on. So, like, that wasn't necessarily something. Okay, yeah, it was surprising, but it was something that sort of pushed me to say, okay, this is a thing. Let's try to figure out who else we can find to get them to join. Why not?
So normally though, when you guys have your sessions, I mean, what is it like? Is it like the same 5 people, or is it like people show up every so often, or like how many on average do you guys get for your sessions?
So for my Monday night sessions, not as many because it's Monday.
Yeah.
But Fridays. So Fridays is whenever a lot of people come out. It can range from like 4 people, which is sort of the, I guess, smaller average, to about, I think at one time there were about 12 people sitting and waiting around that cabinet, maybe 16 or more. I don't know. I've held tournaments there, so I've gotten like 16 for the first one, but dropped off to about 10 for the second. But it's still kind of a strong showing, given that I guess some of the other games around the area wish they could get that much.
And it's a pretty young community in terms of Third Strike over in Chicago. I mean, because we don't really hear too much about them. So, when did it start like picking up, like in terms of the numbers and the players showing up and things like that?
Right around whenever Logan Arcade opened up, to be honest.
Yeah.
So whenever that true Third Strike existed and it was in a pretty decent central location, everybody was just like, okay, let's go here. I mean, a lot of people used to go to the gaming lounge Ignite, but that was just inconsistent. And well, it's probably not something people want to do on a Monday night. So whenever it was Friday, if you want to go to a bar on Friday, why not go to a bar where your friends are?
Yeah.
And Third Strike.
Yeah.
And Third Strike.
So Quentin,
where your friends are.
So Quentin, we're curious. What type of players have you noticed gravitate towards Third Strike? Like, are they players that are in the FGC that have been playing other games? Do you have people in your community who aren't really in the FGC but know of Street Fighter? I mean,
cooking friends.
I mean, just random strangers. I mean, what have you noticed? In the last few years, weirdos. That's what somebody on the stream said.
To be honest, I feel like a lot of the people who I know who play Third Strike are they're kind of on the cusp of the FGC. Like, they know what it is. They've probably been a part of it before, but they've sort of just left it after a while and just said, okay, how do I get back in to a degree? I don't really know. That's a question I never really thought thoroughly about. I mean, the only thing I can offer is like my own perspective. I just did not enjoy some of the other games that were being played, and like, to a certain degree, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna throw away my arcade stick. At one point I did, and then, well, Third Strike came along, and then I realized the enjoyment of Melty Blood. So I don't really know how to describe it. It's sort of like a fringe society, if you will.
And so, when did you, this is your opportunity to kind of, tell people about your scene. What are some of the things that you're doing to try and, get better, level up, but also attract new people to the game?
So, attracting new players to Third Strike is one of the most difficult things you can do. I would probably say, and I don't know if everybody would agree with me, but I would probably say that whenever it comes to Third Strike players, if like somebody who's been playing the game for about a year or two plays somebody new, that new player's not going to have a good time, especially if they're playing like a veteran. Oh my god, it's like the scary situation you can find yourself in. So, I mean, new player tournaments were something that I thought about, but to me that felt a little condescending. I'd rather have something like open tournaments where everybody gets a chance to play somebody new, and to be honest, the only way you really improve is to play better players. Like, I I would not have almost beat Simon Yu if I decided, okay, I'm just going to give up and not play good players on GGPO or FightK. Like, that's something that showed me, okay, I'm missing some elements of my game. How do I play better players, and how do I, like, learn from what they do? So,
I think in defense of the new player tournaments, I know that Game Newton does it regularly, and I think the reason why they do it is because of something that you astutely pointed out, Quentin, is that Third Strike is not the easiest game to pick up.
Oh yeah.
You know, and because it's not a popular game, in all likelihood, if you're new to the game and you play the game, in all likelihood you're going to be playing somebody whose skill level is much greater than yours.
Eventually.
And so, you know, there's that. You know, there's that possibility that you might be, disappointed or you might be discouraged. And I think the reason why, like, you know, Game Newton, why they do, I guess we could call them newbie tournaments. Beginners tournaments is because, you know, there's just so many really good players, and I think, you know, they just want people to play the game. They just want people to try the game. But I definitely do agree with you that, you know, to get better, you know, you have to push yourself, and you have to go to these tournaments, and you have to play people that are better than you. And so, yeah.
I think one of the reasons they can also do that, they have scale. They have a lot more players, and they can segment their tournaments. Whenever you want to host a Third Strike tournament and say this is for veterans only, sometimes you'll have 4 players.
Yeah.
And to a degree, it has to be a fun event to watch. I mean, you don't want to watch 4 veterans go at it, and you know the hierarchy sometimes. So trying to be as open as possible and not necessarily placing up borders yet, given that there aren't enough players to do so, I think that's what stirred me to, like, not do that. And I guess in addition, I thought about other tournament styles. I have one that I thought of that I don't know if I can share yet because I was told to keep quiet on it. But
that's fine. You don't have to reveal anything. That's fine.
I'll probably try to. Actually, you know, it's already out on the internet. Have you poker style tournaments?
What?
Poker style tournaments?
Poker style tournaments. That I guess. Oh yeah, because you did post an event. Tell us a little bit about 3S Poker Night, because I know that you posted it.
Are you guys fans of Texas Hold'em by chance? Do I have to explain the rules?
No. We know Texas Hold'em, but you know, you may just for the sake of being thorough, you may just want to go through the basics for the Screen Monsters. You know.
Okay, so Texas Hold'em is a version of poker where each player at the table gets 2 cards, and there is a communal card pool that is built with 5 cards. Each player can bet after each card is passed, and then the winner who has the best hand, that is evaluated by poker rules or standards or whatever, wins the pot. So poker style 3S is a tournament style that I think the rest of the FGC could adopt, and in essence, pretty much you buy in, you bet, whoever wins, or not whoever wins the first game, but after the first game you can either up your bet or, you know, let the other player up their bet and lose the game or something like that. Let's see. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
So basically, you buy into I guess like a 4-man pool or something like that, or a 5-man pool that you want to play in, and I guess, you know, the more you win, the more you can bet. I guess something like that.
Essentially, yeah. So instead of using just your entry fee to pay the winners, everybody gets a chance to sort of pitch their own bets or how much they want to lose. So I was just planning the rule formats and whatnot, trying to think of ways in which everybody wins to a degree. But, you know, that really depends on how risky a player is willing to play.
Okay.
It's a fun.
I mean, it goes back to, like, you know, the new players, like, trying to muster the courage to play against the higher level players too. Because in that sense, you know, it's like kind of similar to a high roller tournament where, you know, with a $50 entry or a $25 entry, you know, the new players aren't going to enter that. You know, if they know the higher level players are going to be there. So, you know, I guess like it could work to a degree for the newer players too, because, you know, there could be like a scaling for that. Like, say, like, okay, only players who have like 2 years experience or something like that can like enter. You know, so, but that's probably going to be hard to like implement though, like in terms of competitive play. So
no, you'd be surprised how much somebody is willing to bet up whenever they lose a game.
Ooh.
Well, even for
I
even
think
for new players.
I think I need to
Even
watch
for new
this.
players, man.
Is there going to be a
Fighting
stream
game
for
players are
this?
cocky people.
Is there going to be a stream for this, Quentin? Because I feel like I don't really understand the concept. I think I need to see this actually in
Yeah,
action.
hopefully so. I put the rule set up on. I have a Google Doc I can share later on
Mhm.
for the rule set, and it's something that I figure, okay, why not experiment in the Third Strike community first to see if this is something that can be adapted and probably shared with other people. But
Mhm.
it's yeah. So I'll probably try to stream that on either Mondays or maybe even Fridays if I can stream from the bar. God, it's gonna be.
And so, Quentin, are you the one who basically in charge of the streaming of Third Strike from Chicago, or have you?
At this moment, yes,
Mhm.
I've taken upon that responsibility, and to be honest, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I kind of can relate with you there. It's almost to the point where I'd rather stream than play.
See, I tried running the stream and then running the tournament. That's not fun.
It can be difficult. You need a lot of diversions.
Yeah, absolutely.
In other words, alcohol and other things to keep a level head. But kudos to you for running Combo Breaker and streaming it. And I guess that brings us to our next topic, and that's Combo Breaker. Was this the first time you streamed Third Strike at a major?
So yeah, this was the first time.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time, it went exceedingly smooth, amazingly smooth. That event was amazing. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. They had they had a giant what are those? Like the scoreboard style things that pretty much that showed the names of the games on the sides of the I think it was like a 70-foot screen.
Mm-hmm.
That event was awesome. And working with them, they gave us a space for Super Turbo, which happened the night before, and a space for Third Strike the next day. So that was an amazing tournament. They helped us out a lot.
And did they provide internet access as well?
No, but I had a hotspot, so
okay.
It's kind of like not too big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. And so, could you tell us a little bit more about your experience running and streaming? Some of the things you liked about it, some of the things that you didn't like.
I've learned to never run. Huh?
I heard it a couple of times on the videos, like on the stream, that I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but somebody was like, "Yo, I just wish I just had some food, man. I just want to get this tournament over. I just wish I had some food."
Yeah, I think that was Vincent. He's actually one of the guys that brought the Third Strike board. So kudos to him and shout outs and thank you to him. But yeah, he was left running the rest of the stream equipment. Very nice guy. He's from Ohio, so a lot of Midwest connections going on right there. So from my experience running the tournament, running the stream partly, and playing in it, don't ever do those three things together at once. It's tough. It's not a fun thing.
It's tough. We can attest to that. And
so I mean, for the most part, as long as you have a megaphone, you know who you're working with, you know how to organize people, it's pretty smooth if you can keep it that way. And I would like to point out that, what was his name? Kenan Black technically went 0-2, but he only went 0-2 because he went to go watch Skullgirl Top 8.
He went 0-2.
He went to watch Skullgirl. He supports the people.
Lloyd, he went 0-2.
If you get DQ'd, you lost.
He went 0-2.
Lost.
That's fair. He has to make that up himself.
Kenan Black, he's our boy. We raised him. We practically raised him, right?
Seriously.
He is a child of the Third Strike community, so he knows better. He knows better.
He betrayed us. So you gotta hold that shit now.
So where did you get the CRT?
Sport.
Where did you get the CRTs?
So actually, go to your local Goodwill. These things are easy. They're easy to find.
Thank you.
You can get lucky on a good price. The Chicago thrift store economy is absolutely bizarre sometimes, and you can find a CRT really anywhere in the city. So, I mean, that's the easy part. Finding second impact carts and Third Strike boards is the hard part.
That is that's not even in the realm of like the same thing. That's like completely in a different freaking. That's even more difficult, but we try to advocate the fact that the Goodwills are there for you guys to buy the CRTs to use for whatever Third Strike you play on, because a lot of people they
How
tend
many
to just
CRTs have we bought, Lloyd?
yeah, seriously, like people are like so many, like it's just that bad. But it's like when you see people complain about like the LCDs, they get discouraged from playing. They get discouraged from playing Third Strike like that. So
Mhm.
we encourage them to say like go to your Goodwill, like go to Salvation Army, buy a CRT from there. It's how much was yours?
Support the homeless.
Exactly.
They're like
much
20
was
bucks a pop, right? The CRTs.
I got mine for like 25, and I felt like I overpaid for it.
Yeah.
yeah 25
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah. And so where
So,
are these
yeah, I
CRTs
mean-
now? Where are you storing them? Or
I have one in my basement right now.
Mhm.
I have two. One is one of the guys who plays Third Strike around here. His name is Jose. He thankfully has like access to as many CRTs as he feels whenever he wants. So 1, 2, probably a few more. They exist. They're not like dinosaur bones. They're not hard to find.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
At
I
least they're
noticed.
not like dinosaur bones yet.
And so I noticed, Quentin, that during the stream, you used those undammed converters. And how was
Yeah.
the reception to those converters? Because I think they're extraordinarily easy to use, but I don't know.
They are absolutely easy to use. I got some of the so the ones that we're actually playing on, I think they were the ones you had to solder in,
Mhm.
but I think the newer undammed boards, you can actually, they're screw-in terminals, so they're a lot easier to work with in terms of actually attaching it to your JAMA harness. So those aren't necessarily, they get a good signal. They
Mhm.
work. Nobody was complaining whenever they were playing, so if people have skepticism on them, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if they work with PS4 only sticks though. I think that might be the only issue. And
Oh, whatever, it's PS4.
yeah.
So just to clarify, do you stream from Logan Arcade or no?
Not yet.
Mhm.
So I need to talk to the owner of the bar because, well, he's sort of the person we talk to if there are any arcade issues, and he's been talking to us about actually going to the event and actually hosting things at the venue a bit more often. But I guess since I'm sort of the quasi leader of the Chicago Third Strike community,
Christ, Lloyd, why
sometimes
is
the demand is there.
everyone luckier than we are? We have a business owner asking a Third Strike player, "Hey, can you host more events at our place?" I don't understand.
That's not fair.
It's not fair. I'm
That's
sorry.
not
Go
fair.
ahead, Quentin. I'm sorry. I'm just.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry for you guys. I mean, you guys
We're,
have an amazing.
we're salty.
What happened to next
okay?
level?
It's still open.
It's still open.
Really?
And
It's still
and it's
open.
gonna actually not to steal any thunder from this interview, but Henry Sen just announced on Facebook and Twitter that Next Level has officially found a new location.
Yeah,
So-
he officially has it down.
We may have to baptize that place with some poverty Third Strike. So
I mean, I feel like y'all have access to a lot more machines than we do, don't you? Is that not true?
we
I'm
have
not sure.
we have
You-
one cab in New York.
Not really. Well, in terms of the scenes, like we know a lot of people from like different scenes and stuff like that. But in terms of like our own community, like here in New York, no, it's basically just me, Mewan, and Frankie.
We have one cab at Next Level.
This is Third Strike guys that just go there and play. So
Dang.
Yeah, this is
I've been
Third Strike
there.
sounds like an empire. It's just a facade of an empire.
yeah,
In
smoke
reality,
and mirrors.
it's smoke and mirrors, just like Urian. It's just smoke and mirrors.
But once we get that sweet spot, that's it.
Yeah, right. But
At this point,
mhm.
I mean, I guess I don't even know if I'm like qualified to offer advice, but you just gotta find somebody who's willing to just pretty much just be a hype man for anything. So one of the guys that I love him. He's such a nice guy. Brian, he's just like the most outgoing person who will talk your head off, but he's very passionate about what he does. And like we wouldn't have had such a large tournament if it weren't for him. So
Mhm.
I mean, you just got to find somebody and just say, okay, since you're pretty much the person who's, I guess, the most adamant about this cause, we will support you. Sort of, I hate to make this association, but it's kind of like the people who support Trump. They know he's ass, but you know what? He's our ass.
He's
I was
our.
like,
I'm terrified that he's gonna win New York. I'm so terrified. Well, anyway, so Quentin, I take it that you're gonna want to be back for Combo Breaker 2017.
Yeah, so I'm definitely hoping to do something a bit more for Combo Breaker 2017. I mean, everybody has like their own ideas of where they would like to see their own community grow, what they would like to do. I'm a fan of team tournaments. I would love to see more of those, like 5v5 regional based. I'm a fan.
Well, yeah.
You can get the people.
We try to advocate it.
Well, yeah.
No.
Anyway, but I definitely think team tournaments are a lot more hype. What would you do? You finally have Combo Breaker 2016 under your belt, Quentin. Is there anything that you would have? Is there anything that you want to do differently in Combo Breaker 2017? Something that you want to do differently, or maybe do something better?
So.
Well, I mean, you didn't really get to advertise the tournament like that, right? Like, I mean,
not really. I mean, to be honest, I was very lazy with whatever marketing and advertising I was doing. It was just like one of the last things on my mind, to be totally honest. But it was something that I did want to do. So whenever I did have time to actually devote to it, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this, that, or the other. But as far as things I would do differently, I don't really know. It went over pretty smoothly. The only thing I would want to do is get more regions involved and say, hey, do you guys want to come out and possibly like bring your own team with you? I don't know, actually, you know what? I wish I would have run the poker style tournament there. That would have been a good experiment. That would have been a terrible experimenting grounds because it would have gone terribly. Nobody would have known the rules. But I mean, just actually willing to do more than just a single double elimination tournament. I felt like a basic bitch.
well, maybe next year you could probably do something like a team tournament or something like that.
In terms of production, I noticed you didn't have cameras, player cams. Is that something that you're going to think of adding?
So I actually did have HD. I did have video cameras, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a critical director. I didn't like any of the angles they were at. It just didn't seem fitting at the moment.
Okay, perfectionist here.
So I'm gonna have to talk to some other people. Like, there's a few people in Chicago who are part of the Third Strike community that are pretty technical. Like, they love the streaming stuff as well. One of the guys who was actually like running the stream for most of the time, his name is Michael. He came in one day and just threw like all of the stuff on my XSplit streaming environment. I was like, what did you do to change this? And all of his changes were better than mine. And I was like, oh, I wish I could pay you. So I'm not afraid to like give responsibilities to other people if they want them. That's another thing I wish I would have done more of, is not trying to handle every single task whenever there are other people saying, hey, I enjoy doing this. I should have said, okay, you go have fun doing that. I'm going to do this. So being able to dole out responsibilities for people who want them, that's something I wish I would have done more of.
You hear that, Mutant?
What are you talking about? It's like. Never mind. Let's not even go there. This is all about Quentin in Chicago. All right, we're not airing our dirty laundry.
This is part of the parting shots right here.
All right, we'll leave that for parting shots. So Quentin, I noticed that on the Chicago Facebook page, someone, I don't know if it's you or another player, started a Google Doc with a list of players and their tendencies and things of that nature. Could you tell us a little bit more about? Was that you? So that kind of, and that leads me to my next question. As a relatively young scene, what are some of the things that you guys are trying to do to get better at the game? Because obviously, Combo Breaker must have been a real litmus test for you guys, in terms of determining just where you are in terms of skill level. And obviously, a Chicago player didn't win the tournament. Simon Yu won. But obviously Simon Yu's been playing forever. And so, what are some of the different things you're trying to do to, level up?
So one of the things I like to do, so I played football in high school. One of the things we would do whenever we lost a game, watch the tape. Like, this is sports history right here. This is what teams do whenever they lose. Like, you watch the tape, figure out what you did wrong, and sometimes you need somebody who's there to say, okay, since you're not looking at this the right way, this is how it's done. And that's where better players come into play. Like, they know why they did this, and they know why you did that. You don't know why you did that, why not ask them? So being able to do that with some players, like the people who are really interested in learning the game a bit more, that's the fun part. That takes me back to high school. It's just like, okay, you suck at this, figure out how to do it right. So
And then when you
figuring out
see
how to
them,
watch tape,
yeah, and then when you see them do it right, it's just so rewarding, right? That feeling.
you know, that's one of the things that's like takes a really long time because
Mhm.
you know the game is very. Whenever you get habits, those things are very hard to break.
Oh yeah.
So whenever you see them break a habit and do something different, you become a little terrified because you're like, okay, they may be better than me. Now I have to level up too.
Mhm.
And B, you're just like, yeah, okay, now we have a more competitive community and say, if, you know, there's a regional tournament that we want to go to, I feel more confident saying, okay, I want this person on my team.
Mhm.
So one of the things I like to do on Monday is sit down and just critique everybody. They may hate me for it, but somebody has to. And I feel like since I'm not necessarily the best player, but I'm a decent enough player, why not give it to people who I like destroy?
Well, it's always, you know, it's a different. It's not like you have to be a top player to analyze footage. You know,
Mhm.
any player can just look at footage and say, oh, this is where this player went wrong.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you have Ultra David, who's specifically not a top
Oh
player.
yeah,
You know, but
he knows what he's talking about.
yeah, but he analyzes the matches. You know, like he sees the situations. You know, hindsight 20 is always 20/20. You know, so
And
you
on
can
the
always
yeah, and on the flip side, Lloyd, not to interrupt you, but I am. You know, on the flip side, sometimes the best players aren't always the best teachers.
yeah. I mean,
You know,
it happens.
Yeah.
they just do things instinctually, but they just don't know how to communicate what they're doing right. You know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I definitely think, you know, and this is something we were talking about with Miso when we were talking about, I don't know if you were watching the stream, Clinton, but this is something we were talking about with Miso, you know, it's that everyone in a scene can have a different role. And the Chicago players are fortunate that you're willing to do that, right? That you're
Yeah, I
willing
mean
to,
that takes some balls to do because you know how in the American scene, like, you know, we're very egotistical too, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh
we
my
look
God.
when we have
did you say
somebody
exotistical?
Bastion of that.
Egotistical.
no.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Unity, right?
Unity,
come on.
sorry.
No, but in a serious note, like, you know, we can be egotistical. Like when
Oh,
when I was playing, when I first started to play, like, you know, I didn't want somebody to come up to me and tell me like, oh, you're doing this wrong. Fuck that. I didn't want that. You know, I wanted to do it myself. But you know, you get to a point where it's like you can't improve like without somebody actually telling you. You know, so what I want you to do is explain to me, because I know you and he mentioned it earlier. He was saying that you had a Google document
Yeah.
where you literally you write down the players' names and you write down their tendencies.
Yeah, I don't think I've touched that thing in months now that I think about it. I remember making it though.
Mhm.
It was kind of one of those things that was in between my master's study and I was just like, I'm tired of reading econ books. Let me do something else. So it's
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God.
let me figure out how to apply.
The Chicago Third Strike scene is like the true hoops of Third Strike. You're like, I don't know if you watch basketball, Quentin, or follow. Well, obviously, you played football, but I don't know how much you follow sports. But are you introducing analytics to Third Strike?
Stats?
Can't-
Stats?
I feel
Analytics?
it's weird, man. Like it's shameful to a degree, but you can get some pretty interesting stuff out of fighting game player data.
It's
I
true.
mean,
It's true.
It's
Wait, we're
kinda
bringing
like sports
analytics.
kind of.
Analytics.
I mean,
I've-
whenever you know programming language, like the first thing you want to do is figure out, okay, where can I use this?
Mhm.
Video games are computers, so let me gather data from it. Okay, now what do I do with its stats and whatnot? So theoretically, yeah, analytics could be a thing.
I specifically remember the guys from what was it? Get your tournament or something like that. They're like a Smash community, but they started like dwelling into the whole Street Fighter community.
Mhm.
Then they actually brought analytics to Street Fighter where they said like this certain player would always lose the first round, or this player would
The
versus-
percentage of times this person
Yeah.
jumps in a certain situation.
yeah, like
Oh.
they literally did that. So that was pretty
To
pretty
be
interesting. Yeah.
To be completely honest, though, I mean, you know, and I don't know how many people on the stream follow sports, but a sports journalist on ESPN named Michael Wilbon, he recently wrote an article about analytics and race on ESPN's new sub-site Undefeated. And basically, in that article, you know, Wilbon was saying how African Americans right, which make up obviously 90% of the NBA in terms of players, they just don't look at the game. They don't talk about the game like that, African Americans. And, obviously this article, started a firestorm. And so what I got from that article is basically, to me, analytics and the only way analytics is ever going to be popular in the FGC is if the FGC starts turning a massive profit. As long as the FGC isn't big money, there's really going to be no need for analytics. I mean, analytics isn't really going to, because it takes time, right? It takes time and effort to compile those stats and data. So,
I mean, here's the thing though, like, what I've done, I mean, I spent maybe 2 hours writing like code just to figure out how to get it done. And whenever you figure out that process, it becomes instantaneous. You can just leave it and maintain it every once in a while. So it's not necessarily as costly like to do it as you think. Like, I spend $5 on a web server, and then the rest of the time I spend is doing code. And like that's not only something I do for the community, but it's a resume booster. Hell, why not?
Definitely.
So how exactly did that work though? So with the Google
the website.
No, I mean with the Google document part. I mean, you just looked at a player's matches and you just wrote down their tendencies. Were they recent? Was it old footage? Was it something like that or?
Yeah, that was so that was actually last month. So I went through and reviewed a few matches because I was just figuring out how to log them, put them into a Excel spreadsheet so that I could use that later on. And then I was just like, okay, why not take a few notes here and there? And those notes, as many of them as I took, I only took like I think maybe 20 matches notes on, but you sort of just examine things and you pick them out and you figure out those are tough to tabulate whenever you're not taking them real time, but whenever you can just sit down, look at this note and say, okay, he's not wrong about that. That's something that a certain player catches if they play that match, and they try to adjust that tendency, hopefully. But, it's just good feedback wherever it is. The only thing it's hard to find for, like, people who are not necessarily as technical. So,
are there other things that you've been trying to do to improve the skill level in your community? Like, for example, newer players, right? What's your kind of approach to teaching newer players?
So,
like what kind of advice do you give them? Like, do you tell them to watch videos? Do you tell them to go look frame data?
Here's the thing. I would say that I'm a bad teacher whenever it comes to beginner players. Like, there's plenty of other people who do that better. If you're intermediate or advanced, and you say you actually want to do it, I'd be glad to help you. But whenever it comes to beginner players, like,
you gotta have the patience for that.
You do. I don't coddle, so whenever I figure that out, or if I find somebody who does do it well, I can share that with you. But to be honest, I just tell them, play better players and copycat. Do exactly what they do and piss them off, and well, you might learn something from it.
So we're gonna have to end the show pretty soon, Quentin. But speaking of copycat, I wanted to end with this. So curiously, a couple weeks ago, I stumbled upon your YouTube channel, and I saw that you guys named one of your get-togethers the Chicago Shelter.
I couldn't think of anything
now,
else.
you know what? We haven't actually. We haven't. Lloyd left. Now, I don't know. You may get a letter from our lawyers soon. I don't know, but
cease and desist. I mean, I've already done it, so I'm sorry. There's nothing much you can do there. My bad.
No, we're just joking. But feel free to be the Chicago chapter of the shelter.
No, I mean every city has a shelter. I mean, let's be honest here.
It's the bunker after the. I don't want to say Holocaust, but nuclear Holocaust.
Yeah, that's where we're getting
nuclear
even.
Holocaust. That's what I was looking for.
The hole's getting deeper. Yeah.
No, but every city has a shelter, and it's nice that you guys have a specific place where you guys can have a session every so often. So that's nice.
Okay.
That's cool. And it's an actual shelter, isn't it? Like, isn't it like a garage or something?
It's actually in a garage. Yes, a very lowly lit garage. So it's definitely got some.
ambiance.
definitely a
Character to
shelter.
it.
It's got some ambiance. It's got some
It has character.
character. Okay. Okay. I'm glad. So, Quentin, is there anything that you want to say to the stream monsters watching out there?
You know what? I've got a list of mentions and shoutouts
Great.
because
Go ahead.
okay, yeah. So Gutter Trash has like some of the most interesting and probably some of the best logos in the Third Strike community. I'm sorry, but they're good. Let's see. Oh yeah. So one of the reasons why Chicago is like the good place for arcades in general, it's a hotbed for everybody who's like into arcades. Biggest pinball capital of the world, and well,
That's true.
we have two barcades that have Third Strike. One sucks, the other is amazing. So, I mean, we love arcades here. I would like to make...
and just real quickly, Quentin, you know, that's something that I've been really trying to push. You know, that in order for poverty games in the FGC to exist and to be successful, I really think we need to collaborate more with the retro arcade scene. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what you're doing. You know, I mean, with Logan Arcade. And I think, you know, of course, Big E, he's going to be running fighting games at Too Many Games, TMG. It's a convention in Philadelphia for the first time. So I think he's definitely on the right track. Well, he's been on the right track, you know, considering that, you know, he brings Tony Majors to all his majors. You know, but I really feel like a lot of these old scenes, particularly Third Strike, we really need to get together more with the retro arcade scene, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, what I'm trying to do right now is organize everybody who plays like the older games. Darkstalkers was big at Combo Breaker, and like those, I know the guy who like heads it up. This is a nice guy. Like I wouldn't want to not. I mean, I would love to work with him. These are all nice people we're working around. So why we need to be in our own little isolated areas?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't need to be. Like all of our games are sort of, I guess, on the cusp of existence to a degree, but I think at that point you kind of realize we all benefit from just working together and bringing our events together. So, yeah.
I'm glad you feel that way. So continue with your shout out. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I threw that in, Quentin.
Okay. Yeah, I have to make a shout out to James SB, the proprietor of Logan Arcade. Like, if it weren't for that location, Third Strike would probably still be struggling in Chicago. I mean, the tournament at Combo Breaker might have been the same, but we wouldn't have as many regulars as we do now, and like a lot of people would not have played as well at Combo Breaker if not for the fact that they had someplace to actually get better and like do what they want to do outside of their work life and whatnot. Shout outs to jobless electrical engineers who have to resort to fixing busted arcade cabinets and boards. Thank you for a downturned economy here and there. Brian, once again, for his tenacity. One of the best guys to work with. You know, just every other Third Strike player in Chicago and the US is like playing to keep this game alive. Like, it's a hobby I love. It's something that I would like to do until I can't do it anymore. And, you know, to have the people around, you can't really, I don't even know what to say after that. Like, it's fulfilling, you know? Like, if not for that, I would probably just spend all my time cooking and would probably be a master chef by now. But no, I chose Third Strike.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Quentin. We really appreciate the time. And so once again, guys, for those of you who are in the Chicago area, I don't know who else is watching this, but if there happens to be anybody that doesn't know about Third Strike, or if anyone knows that there's a Third Strike scene in Chicago, please go to Logan Arcade. I assume it's called Logan Arcade because it's located in Logan Square.
Yes, so it's like right on the border of Logan Square, Fullerton and Western, for those who know Chicago street names well.
Okay, and so you also have a page on Facebook as well?
Yeah, so we have a page on Facebook. It's usually devoted to Third Strike, but you know, it's open to like anybody who is interested in some of the classic games and whatnot. So a lot of our members not only play Third Strike, but they also play ST, Darkstalkers. I mean, it's just kind of a meeting spot where you come and ask a question if it's Third Strike related. Okay, if it's not, whatever.
And so I just wanted to go ahead and show the logo for Logan's Arcade again. And also for those of you who want to know where to catch footage of the Chicago Third Strike scene, you can go over to Twitch, and I think this is the channel name. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's twitch.tv/DrPancakeJDMBA. And you stream what days again, Quentin?
So Mondays, first and third Mondays of the month is what I usually do, but I might be switching that to Saturdays. And if I can talk to the proprietor of the arcade, probably Fridays. So Mondays are for sure, but I'll post in the group if things change, and I'll try to keep a schedule on the page too.
Great. So thank you again, Quentin, for joining us. Lloyd, did you have anything else? Do you have anything else to add?
Thanks a lot for supporting everybody in the Chicago area too. I mean, it's not every day that we find, players who are so passionate about the community, and they put in the effort to actually, make a Google document for newer players and their tendencies, and go out of their way to stream and stuff like that and run tournaments. I mean, that's a rare quality nowadays in this type of community that we have nowadays. So
I could use my master's degree for something.
so definitely thank you for doing that for everybody in your area too. So hopefully there's more stuff to come.
So
yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
So Lloyd, do you have any parting shots before we go?
Well, just for all the new players out there, I mean, for you kids out there who are getting into Third Strike, don't be discouraged. We had two basically leaders of their communities on the stream today, and basically we wanted to showcase that these communities aren't really like tight-knit groups with just friends and stuff like that. They do welcome new players with open arms, and you are always welcome to any community in your area that supports Third Strike. So definitely make the effort to come out and support them. So yeah.
Oh, can I get 2 parting shots in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, y'all can go first. I mean, these are 2 directed at Chicago players who didn't show up. So.
You gotta say that right now.
Yeah, you gotta say that right
I can?
now. Yeah,
you gotta say that right now.
Because we're gonna end with some positivity, but you can go ahead.
Okay, I hate to throw him under the bus, but Carrie
say it.
talks so much shit, but she didn't show up to one of the biggest tournaments in the region.
Hold that shit.
Hold that shit.
Hold that shit.
He's a good friend. He's a good guy, but
No.
talk so much shit, you gotta come out.
Let him know.
Yeah, definitely.
This
So
party
that's
shots.
one.
Ain't fucking.
I don't necessarily blame him, but one of our best Third Strike players didn't show up either. Adam, I don't know if you guys have played him online. He goes by Dirtmaster online.
Oh, I played that guy before. Oh, he's garbage. He didn't show up. He's garbage. Nah, fuck that. No, you're supposed to show up. If you're the best player in your community and you don't show up to a major like that, and you let Nebraska win, nah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2.
All right. So you hear that guy? You hear that, Adam? And who else?
Wait, one more. One more. One more. I got one more parting shot for Jose. He's an Elena player, and I give him the most shit, and he lost to Eat, and I was just like, no, you can't lose to Nebraska, bro. Not you.
Well,
Eat's
I
not.
expected better.
Eat's not chopped liver, all right? But
he's not. But I expected him to win. I was hoping he would win. I mean, I got to root for my own.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So as far as my parting shots go, I just want to go ahead and piggyback off something Lloyd said. This show is all about trying to show everyone that Third Strike lives. That there are people who are struggling, people who are trying to revive the scene, who are trying to create scenes and trying to keep the game alive. And so hopefully for those of you who don't have a scene in your neck of the woods, maybe you'll consider trying to start one, because it's clear that it's possible, judging from our 2 guests tonight. So Lloyd,
the resources out there.
Yeah, so Lloyd, I guess that's that. So before we leave, I just wanted to let everyone know that you have been watching House of Strikes. And so please make sure that you spread the link to the YouTube once Lloyd uploads tonight's show. And once again, we stream every now and then. It's not quite regular because of real life, but hopefully we'll have a House of Strikes before Evo, right, Lloyd?
Yeah, for sure.
Also, make sure you visit the Teespring store, teespring.com/stores/this is 3S. All proceeds go to helping us put on Third Strike events and streams. And so definitely check out that store. Also, if there's a Third Strike event in your neck of the woods or you're planning to organize one, please consider entering it into our community event form. The information you enter on the form goes directly to a calendar. And so definitely check that out. And definitely let everyone know when your Third Strike event is going on. Also, guys, shout outs to the West Coast Third Strike scene. All right, that's cool. The Boiler Room. They might be streaming tonight. Are they streaming tonight?
They should be streaming tonight. Yeah.
Definitely,
Today's
definitely.
Thursday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, give her the food first.
Yeah.
She ate a little bit, but she's still.
Also, definitely check out NoHo Dojo on Facebook and Twitter. Our boy Flannel Jack is trying to, build the scene in the North Massachusetts area. So definitely give him a ring. He loves Third Strike, but he also plays other games. And so definitely take some time to check that out. Also, guys, remember Gutter Trash was good.
They have their social media, so be sure to check that out, guys. They do have Twitter as well. What is it? Twitter.com/ what is it? The same link?
I think it's Gutter Trash UK.
Yeah, so Gutter Trash UK is the same one as their Facebook, so be sure to check them out, guys.
And also remember that Gutter Trash plays at a new arcade venue called Violent City. And for those of you who are in the London area, visit violentcity.com and check out the events that James, the proprietor of Violent City, is putting on. And also, once again, follow us on our various social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Lloyd's YouTube channel, the Instagram that we never update. And once again,
and our Teespring store too, guys.
And our Teespring store. So once again, guys, on behalf of Nika KO and both our guests, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Say goodbye, guys.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.